Hello again, RoyZesch.REALTOR here with Coldwell Banker Legacy in San Angelo. Today I want to talk to you about home insurance. Now, most of you probably already know that when you have a home, you need to have insurance on it. I mean, you've got $100,000 or more tied up in a piece of real estate and a building on it, so you need to have some way to protect yourself from the things that can happen. You get a little more in depth with it than that, because you probably already did know that. So, the first thing to think about when you're the home buyers, you're going into the home buying process, it doesn't even hurt to shop around to pick your agent. If you already have one, that's fine. Maybe discuss with them the process as you get started in it. And then pretty well, as soon as the home is under contract, once you've notified your lender and they start working on their parts of it, then you need to probably start working on the insurance. You can get firm quotes at that time. You can get an inspection of insurability basically by the insurance company where they can say, yes, this home is ready to be insured, because that's one of the things that can trip you up later. If at the last minute or even after the last minute occasionally, you find out that the home is not insurable, then you have a problem. You've got a closing that's delayed, maybe something really bad happens, who knows, because your lender is not going to loan you the money on the property unless it can be insured. That is their requirement, and then typically so much so that they will actually escrow the money. You will pay them 1/12 of it more or less every month with your payment, so that they actually pay the insurance, so they're 100% sure that they know this home is insured all the time. So that's very important. So again, just early in the process, more or less, particularly after the home is under contract, you want to start working on that. Another little tidbit in a post-Harvey Texas, which is worth talking about some of this stuff, is federal flood insurance. Flood insurance is a weird deal. Basically, the federal government created the insurance program, or guarantees the insurance program. So it gets a little wacky. But basically, the simple part of it is, if your home is in a floodplain, then your lender is almost certainly going to require the flood insurance on it through the National Flood Insurance Program. If they do, then it's fairly easy to get. It's a straightforward process, as straightforward as a process with a governmental entity can be, and you get the insurance. The key thing to know is, if you're not in a floodplain, your lender is not going to require that, okay? And the floodplains are determined from surveys. There's really smart engineers and people that get into it and say, okay, in the past 100 years, water's come up this high in this area and stuff like that. It's really useful information. Those things change over time as they sit there and look at them and notice, okay, things are changing here, and so they can change. There's areas in San Angelo that have changed in the last few years, that homes that were not in a floodplain and now are in the floodplain, and therefore the lenders can require the flood insurance on them. Another thing to know is that you can buy flood insurance even if you're not in the floodplain. It will be separate, and your lender won't require it, but as things change, particularly as the areas are built up, and I will bet you, without knowing the facts, that there's a lot of people in Houston that are finding out right now they were not in a floodplain and therefore did not have flood insurance, but yet their home's flooded. Because as neighborhoods are built up, it changes the way that the water impacts. And obviously, in the case of Houston with Harvey, they'd never had this kind of rain before, but even if they had, the water changes. Every time there's more streets put in, well, streets don't absorb water. So you have more runoff from those areas, and so it increases the amount of water that has to be absorbed into the other areas, and then gets into the waterways faster, so it peaks harder. So anyway, that's something to think about. If you're in an area that your eye tells you, hey, this looks like it could flood if things go wrong, but yet you're not technically in a floodplain, it's something to seriously consider, because if your house floods and is seriously damaged, you're on the hook for that, because your normal insurance policy does not cover flood insurance. Now, it will cover flooding if for example, you have a water hose bust on your washing machine or your dish machine or something like that, then they will cover those type of floods, but not an externally caused flood. So another little bit to think about. So anyway, insurance is a very important thing. Finding an agent that can represent you well, that can help guide you through the process is very valuable. In the process, your realtor can also help you find the insurance agent that can really help you out. So just important to have it early enough in the process that it doesn't cause an issue toward the end, because again, your lender is going to require that before they are going to fund the loan at closing. So you cannot close in most cases without insurance. So any more questions, give me a call. RoyZesch.REALTOR, 325-268-0775. Thank you.